It's the 6th of December, 2025. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. The windstorm potential across Europe getting higher. I want to show you that. Let's start with that first. Right here, this is kind of the broad picture to show us what's coming down the road next. Let me stop it here on Tuesday. Tuesday, we have a system that will be working near Portugal, Spain, but more so to the north. And I'll show you that. I want to zoom down. Really heavy pockets of rain in some different locations. Watching the spin up here by Iceland, kind of working its way around, filtering in a lot of energy. Now, let's go deep out in time here as we work our way deeper into the upcoming working week, and we'll stop it here as we work our way into Thursday. And you can see a lot of energy across the North Atlantic at times. That works in more action, more wind, more rain to parts of Ireland, the UK, and then spilling over even over toward Norway, and keeping an eye on France, Spain, Portugal. And again, our focus has really been over here, the Balkans and Italy over the last several days, which I covered in previous videos. But now we're watching out here, and look what happens. This is about a week from now. We get a couple spins here. They kind of break free. So there may be two areas to watch by the weekend. One near the UK lifting up toward Norway, another one down toward Spain and Portugal. So a couple systems not necessarily the strongest, but could bring us impactful weather. But look at this, back toward the North Atlantic. A lot of energy here. This is a sign of those bigger wind storms that may be working our way, especially mid to late month as we work our way closer to Christmas, as we approach the new year. That's when we could see some significant systems. Shorter term, we've been seeing a couple smaller systems, not to say they haven't been impactful in spots. We've had that significant flooding. Italy, for example, parts of Italy back through southeastern Europe, but we're about to get into the pattern with bigger wind systems that will be working in. That's what we'll be tracking together on this channel. I appreciate you subscribing and being part of this weather community as we get more into that active pattern. Here it is on the big picture, and then we need to zoom down. I want to show you the rain, but showing all the action here that kind of filters in. You get a couple pieces of it, right? Kind of two pieces of it. And here's what has been working through the Mediterranean, Turkey, Bulgaria. Still some very active weather in through tonight, in through tomorrow as well, covering all sections of Europe. Then as we go on time here, this is Sunday afternoon. You see some of the rain. France, Germany will zoom down in a moment, swinging back toward the north. Still this energy over toward Turkey, trying to push its way off toward the east. And then as we work our way into Monday, we have this spin here, kind of a dying spin, but because that's sitting there for days, that allows a lot of energy to filter in. Not as much Portugal and Spain, but more so lifting to the north, Ireland, the UK, watching over toward Denmark, clipping by over toward Norway, and then eventually Sweden. Tail end of this here, by the time we get into Tuesday, France, parts of Spain, Portugal, so watching the Iberian Peninsula, but then we'll be watching more so what's going on off to the west. Here's that first area that kind of lifts in, that may break off into two later in the week, but over toward parts of the U.S., back toward Bermuda, there's a lot of moisture building. I watch kind of what's way back behind us. A lot of moisture is building. That's what could potentially work in mid to late month with those bigger systems, the bigger windstorms, as is typical as we work our way deeper into December, into January. Now let's zoom down sector by sector here to give you a feel. This is as we work our way into late today, tonight, watching some of the rain around scattered about the Netherlands, over toward Belgium, Germany, some scattered areas of rain. But as we go throughout the day on Sunday, a heavy pocket of rain should start in Ireland first, then kind of lift to the north, especially over toward Scotland, Northern Ireland, heavier rain late morning, early afternoon. One pocket moves in. Then as we work our way into Monday, just kind of showery weather at times, scattered areas of rain, parts of Germany, back toward the Netherlands, watching over toward Denmark. But as we get into Tuesday, that's the day we'll get some heavier rain sliding in. As soon as really Monday night, right? Monday night, may hear it on the rooftop, kind of waking you up in spots with some heavier rain. Big slug of moisture rolls through. This is Tuesday morning. You can see heavier rain, potential of that Wales, England, really good downpours as we work our way into Tuesday, especially the first half of the day, then kind of lifting to the north as the day goes on. Now, this is a few days out, right? So the timing of this will change. Maybe the rain's not as much in the morning, maybe more in the afternoon. Maybe it's more overnight. We'll wait and see on that. But this gives us a feel that especially Monday night into Tuesday, at least we're going to see a really heavy pocket of rain that will be moving in. I'll break down the rain totals in this sector in just a second. Let's get to this here, though, as we widen out the view to try to cover everyone. Here's Ireland, Norway, Sweden, Finland, swinging down toward Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. A couple spotty showers for tonight. Here's Belgium. We work our way back toward Germany. This here, our Sunday afternoon, watching. This is that heavier pocket of rain I mentioned. Scattered areas of rain and snow. Norway, Sweden, some of that rain clipping by southern sections of Finland. And then as we work our way out in time here, this is Monday. Here's the moisture building. Meanwhile, watching some of the rain over toward parts of Germany, back through the Netherlands, Estonia. Shot of getting some of that rain, snow, sections of Norway. But here's that big area of rain trying to pull through on Tuesday. Back through Ireland and the UK, and then deeper into Tuesday, you see how it moves toward Norway, watching over toward Denmark, stretching back toward northern sections of Germany and Poland. This will kind of pivot around toward Iceland, but here's that heavier pocket of rain that will be working its way through. And then again, even more active late in the upcoming working week and then deeper into the month. Now, watching this as well, here's Portugal, Spain, France, Switzerland, Austria, Italy to kind of orient you. Turkey, watching out for that moisture. We had that heavy rain in parts of Greece, parts of Albania, Croatia, for example. We've been watching Kosovo, Bulgaria, Serbia. This kind of pivots away, but here's some of that moisture swinging through. Of course, back through the Alps, we're looking at additional snowpack. I'll show you that in just a second. This here's our Sunday afternoon. Then we swing out in time here into Monday. There's some of the rain crossing Czechia, Slovakia, back through Austria. Not quite as active as we saw last week in through here. Just watching this rain that kind of dives down. This is Monday into Tuesday. Let's get into Tuesday, and you see that rain kind of pivoting around. Tuesday, heads up, watching this moisture, western France, back toward the western sections of the Iberian Peninsula. Look at Portugal. Tuesday, we need to keep an eye on this rain. While there'll be a lot up here, some of this rain may move by, and then especially over toward Turkey again with some additional rain. Now, here are those rain totals, and these take us over the next few days through the weekend into Tuesday, and you could see these totals really starting to stack up. At the least, we're looking at 25 millimeters of rain in through say parts of England, over toward Wales, back through Ireland, but there'll be additional spots that could press 100 millimeters of rain. Just kind of depends on where it sets up. Scotland, the best chance of getting that, but you see a little bit more white around, so heads up, some of the totals could be a bit higher in spots with that rain working, and especially Monday night and again in through the day on Tuesday. And then we'll keep an eye down the road, some of that rain. I mentioned the western areas of the Iberian Peninsula. Here's France, especially northern and western zones, better chance of rain. Watching the rain in through here, of course, across the Alps. We're talking about some of that snow. Italy, fortunately, a little more settled than what we saw last week. Same thing throughout parts of the Balkans, but still watching that rain, especially back toward Turkey, where additional rain totals could press about 150 millimeters of some rain. So that's why I was highlighting that with that rain on the move. This in through here, of course, some snow mixing in as well, but some additional totals, especially southern sections of Norway, where we could get some spots of about 75 millimeters of rain. Germany, we're looking about 25 millimeters of rain, maybe a little bit more, maybe 40 to about 50 millimeters. Now, watching that snow cover, that snowpack, watching the depth here, you can see the scale on the right-hand side of your screen to kind of give you a feel. Norway will be tacking onto some of the totals with some additional moisture. This is the snow depth where we stand now, swinging toward the south. And of course, with this area of rain that will eventually work its way through France, we'll be watching over toward the Alps for some additional snowpack, but this is where we stand now with some of the snow cover spotty in a few sections, and we'll be updating this as we continue to work forward. So we're about to get into an even more active pattern. Western Europe in the short term, more active with those blobs of rain, if you will, moving by. So we'll be tracking the rain and the flood potential. The storm pattern becoming more active, though, especially deeper to the month as we approach Christmas, with the potential of additional named storms that could be stronger. So thank you for sharing this weather community with your friends, family. I hope you have a good weekend ahead.